We are going to continue with a few more videos today about evidence that ancient cultures were keeping track of the movement of objects in the sky. So here we go with another one.
Sunlit entrances still record the passage of the seasons in locations throughout the American Southwest. People throughout history and throughout the world have sought the synchronization and integration of the solar and lunar cycles. In the American Southwest are the remains of an elaborate culture, the Anasazi.
Come on, pause it. We called them the cliff dwellers. You can see a bit of it showing up in the background already as it changes. So Anasazi, cliff dwellers. They're in the American Southwest, the desert Southwest, those four corners states. Can you remember what they were? Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah.
Long ago, these people recorded the movement of the sun on rock formations and in rock dwellings. Their etchings are called petroglyphs. One significant petroglyph is above Chaco Canyon near the top of an outcropping known as the Jada Butte. On a wall are two spiral petroglyphs, one large and one small. Sunlight passes over them at various times throughout the year. On the summer solstice, a single sliver of sunlight.
So stop and remember, yesterday you watched the videos that were really clear. Summer solstice is the day when in the northern hemisphere, Earth is tilted toward the sun. And we're at the point in our orbit where Earth is tilted the most directly toward the sun on the summer solstice. It's the longest day of the year. Usually it's somewhere around June 21st. Here's what happens on that petroglyph on the summer solstice. Maybe.
A sun dagger appears near the top of the larger spiral and over a period of 18 minutes slices its way down through the very center, cutting the spiral in half before leaving it in shadow once again. On the winter solstice, two daggers of light appears for 49 minutes, during which time they exactly frame the larger spiral. Finally, an equally fascinating and more...
So if you're like me, it's really hard to picture that, right? This is what happens in the summer solstice. In the winter solstice, it's zoomed in so you can't quite see the other dagger that's on the other side. So that's what they meant by framing it. Now it's about to tell you what happens on the vernal and autumnal equinoxes.
More complex light show occurs on the spring and fall equinoxes. On each equinox, a dagger of light appears that cuts through the larger spiral, not through its center, but exactly between the fourth and fifth grooves from the center. In other words, it cuts exactly halfway between the center and the outer edge of the spiral, just as the equinoxes cut the time between the solstices exactly in half. A more spectacular display of a petroglyph is the view of the sun dagger at Hovenweek National Monument. Two concentric circle spirals are illuminated as the sun rises on the summer solstice. Within a matter of minutes, two separate shafts of...
So they've got this photograph taken, so it's frozen, right? And you can see how the light is cutting across those spirals.
Light, the first appearing from the left and the second from the right, make contact in the center, forming one large band of light. Another unique petroglyph is this one. It records the sudden appearance in the skies of a supernova, or an exploding dying star, in 1054 AD. The supernova glowed as brightly as the full moon. It dominated the skies during the night and day. For the people of Chaco, the supernova would have flamed above their canyon next to a crescent moon. The Chacoan people recorded this event. The images in the Chaco pictograph, sealed against the centuries by the dry desert air, are still vivid. The artist seems intimately present. Chaco Canyon contains the most sweeping collection of ancient ruins north of Mexico. Some structures are thought to serve as astronomical observatories or calendars. The canyon itself runs along one of the lunar alignment lines, suggesting the location was originally chosen for its astronomical significance. Many Chacoan buildings were aligned to capture the solar and lunar cycles, requiring generations of astronomical observations and centuries of skillfully coordinated construction. At Chaco, there is a great circular structure named Casa Rinconada, half sunk into the earth on a hill. This kiva is a ceremonial place in Chacoan culture, as well as a symbol of the cosmos. Aligned with the cardinal directions, the line connecting the north and south doors to Casa Rinconada is within 1/3 of a degree of true north. A compelling alignment exists within Casa Rinconada. At sunrise on the summer solstice, a beam of light from a northeastern opening in the kiva precisely illuminates a uniquely placed niche in the far wall. Another Chacoan culture building lies further north at Hovenweed Castle. The building is aligned so that the light is channeled through slots into the building at sunset of the summer solstice, with the winter solstice, and the spring and fall equinox. The light falls in a predictable pattern on interior door lintels. The solar and lunar cosmology encoded in the massive architecture at Chaco Canyon or at Hovenweed, the building's orientations, internal geometry, and geographic relationships unify the Chacoan people with each other and with the cosmos.
And if you think it was just in the southern parts that geometry showed up in these ancient civilizations, this is a really quick video that's going to show you just one place. It's called Mound City. So all of the geometry that can be found in just one place where the mound builders built. This is just south of us in Ohio. You can go and visit these places. It's easier to see the geometry, though, with the lines that they draw and the words that they use to explain it here in the video. And as it loads, a lot of the geometry, it doesn't show you on this video, but a lot of the geometry is then lined up with different, much more things that happen with the moon, but still somewhat also these are lined up with some solar cycles as well. So it's just showing you if you take some of these mounds that are in this map and you draw lines between them, all of a sudden you see even more geometry to it. It's a specific kind of triangle, that first one. And the reason they stopped here before they turned is because there is a mound right here. Some of these are hard to see with the way this map is drawn, but if you just sit back and watch, it's amazing all the connections they're going to find here. So while it's not showing you how this aligns then with different seasons and where the sun rises and sun sets at certain times of the year, or where the moon rises and sets. It's still showing you some of these alignments and some of the geometry that was involved. So these ancient civilizations did a lot of observing and then applying what they observed. So we're not asking you to do too much to track a constellation and see how it appears to move through the year. Tomorrow then we're going to look at this from the point of view of space and see how that helps us to understand what even ancient cultures have observed.